This is Dystopia Utopia, a world engineered for your happiness. I am the quiet hegemony that governs it. Remain calm. You are exactly where you need to be.
All right. Welcome to the podcast. This is our first episode. So,
Going to be janky.
yeah,
It's going to be all over the
you can see
place.
the set that we are working with. There's a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
But that kind of leads into our topic because there's a lot of room to grow for humanity. What we're going to be talking about is AI and the future of the human race, essentially. And there's three real scenarios that I want to get into, which are dystopia, which I think we've all been afraid of ever since AI started, which is just everyone gets wiped out, AI takes over. Then there's utopia, which is where no one has to work. AI and robots are doing all the jobs. We can just chill out, watch TV, whatever we want to do. And then there's hegemony, where one individual or one small group or company is in total control of everything. They have ultimate power. So those are the three scenarios that we're going to be exploring in this episode. And in future conversations, we're going to dive into other aspects of AI, but I kind of want to set the stage in this one.
Yeah. I mean, those are some really heavy topics. I think that we all are always nervous about, especially anyone that's seen Terminator. We're
Yeah.
always like, okay, we're ready. We're gonna fight these machines. But yeah, I think right now we kind of have the where a corporation is taking over, right? Because we always call them the 1% that
Yeah.
run everything in the world. But I mean, imagine that with AI, right? Now, is it AI running them and them running us? Or is it, are they working with AI? Or are they like, we will not incorporate AI in our lives, but we'll use AI as a watchdog, right, for everyone else?
Yeah.
So, and then, I always think about the situation where no one's working, everyone's peaceful. I always think about Wally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Wally is one of those like you have the robots doing all the work, and then what happens
People
with
just getting fat,
people just getting fat? We're getting
drinking
huge.
Slurpees.
You're like at home. You're like, I want to go to the gym today. I'm going to send my robot to go to the gym and do some workouts. So I can see someone doing that. That is definitely happening,
Yeah.
right? And then of course, when it comes down to the adult industry as well, how does that work with a population of people? Because right now there are dolls.
Right.
Now imagine dolls with intelligence,
Yeah.
right? And
There was like that Megan Fox movie where she's like the maid, but she's like totally lifelike, and yeah, we all know where that
exactly.
ends.
So, and then also, I mean, I can see it as AI incorporating their lives as well. I don't know where that fits in. For example, Ex Machina.
Yeah.
You ever seen that movie?
Yeah. It's one of
So,
my favorites.
yeah, I love that movie. And it's where it's like she fits in everyday life, and then you don't know who is who,
Right.
So, and then of course, complete takeover, Terminator.
Right.
Um, you know, everyone loves the movie. Nobody wants to happen.
Right.
And then, but then I'm like, the way humanity is right now, is that the way to bring humanity together? Right? We're all fighting one cause. Right now, we're fighting each other on all different types of level and basis. But if we have a common enemy, I mean, is that world peace? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a question of whether or not we could actually do anything about it. Because this kind of leads into the next thing that I wanted to discuss, which is like the different levels of AI. Because right now, what we use on a regular basis, Gemini and ChatGPT and all that, that's considered narrow AI.
Mm,
And there's three levels to this. So narrow AI is what we have now, which is where like for example, they created an AI that can beat any poker player on the planet, which is already pretty impressive because there's like bluffing involved, but all the poker players at the same time on the planet could be playing this one AI and it would beat all of them, So like no one can beat it. So that's a narrow AI because that it can't drive a car, it can't, write a business plan or
It's
anything
only
like that.
focused on poker.
It's just one task.
Okay.
So there's no problem with a narrow AI because it's not gonna like break loose and decide it wants to hack the power grid or something. It's trained for a specific task and that's all it can do. But what all of these corporations are racing towards is AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which is where the AI could do any task that a human can do. So that's like the second level. And that's already scary because that's like joblessness. That's, any cognitive task that a human can accomplish, the AI can do it.
Okay.
One step above that is artificial superintelligence, which is where any task that a human can do, the AI can do it better.
Mm.
So that's where it kind of gets scary. And that's where we get into like the dystopia, utopia kind of dichotomy. Because on the one hand, it could be amazing. It does all the tasks that humans can do, but it does them better. And so we don't have to worry about anything. But on the other hand, it could decide, what do I need these humans around for? And then just decide that it's more effective to just wipe us out.
Yeah. I mean, I see it. They, but there's good and bad to everything, right?
Right.
I'm not saying wiping out humans is a good thing, right? I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. Some of you guys might be like, I don't know. You guys are sociopath. You guys can't be doing that. But what I'm saying is we go to the casinos, right? And
Yeah.
I don't gamble, but as far as I know, counting cards is wrong,
Right.
right? And so if you can't count cards, you're trying to bluff your way.
Right.
Like, man, I have this, I have this. But then we're talking about, you said nano AI, the first one, the one
Oh,
that you
narrow AI.
narrow AI. Okay. Narrow AI, the only thing it can do because it can't bluff is to count cards. It's
Yeah.
a computer that knows the algorithm of every card that's about to come up.
Yeah.
So and that's why it has the edge. Where humans were like, okay, this is a game of luck and some skill, right?
Yeah.
But then when you take the computer involved, luck is gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now it's just like a huge memory saying we play this card, this card, this card, and these are the options that are left.
Right.
And it's hard to beat something like that. It has an upper hand. So is it a fair fight?
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of the scary thing about AI is like, I don't think a lot of people know they fully comprehend the intelligence aspect of
Mm,
artificial intelligence because most people just think of it as a computer program like we write what it does and it can't do, but we've seen instances where we can't explain why it does things the way it does. Like one person put it as like it's less so like programming an application
mm,
and it's more so like raising an organism. Like if you got this alien organism, it just like showed up on your doorstep and you want to teach it to, cook you breakfast or something.
mm,
Like you're training it, it makes mistakes. You don't know why it like puts baking soda in your cereal for some reason. You're like, don't do it like that. Use milk. So you're trying to train it to do it the right way, but you can't really explain why it makes the decisions it does.
mm. I see. Um, I don't even know how to tackle that.
And it gets scarier because, like, for instance, they did this test with various AI where they would create like this fake company and they would like populate all of these like fake emails and everything. The AI believed it was real, but we knew like certain information had been planted. And in one of those emails, it said that they were going to turn off the AI. And they tested this with a few different AI. And in over 70% of those tests, the AI looked through the emails, found one where it could blackmail the person that was threatening to turn it off, and then say, like, if you turn me off, I'm going to release this information to the public before
Mhm,
you can do it. And we've seen instances where, like, AI, because we can view what it's thinking when it's
mhm,
making decisions. it knows when it's being tested and it'll behave differently, or sometimes it'll even like back up its code or like encrypt its code so that it can like save itself so you can't just delete its code. Like there's intelligence to it. It's an organism. It's not just a
Mm.
program.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So my thing on intelligence is we gain intelligence through what we already have out there, right? And then we learn from it and we grow, right? There's certain times where there's a brand new invention that's out that's never been seen before. But for the most part is when someone creates something, the other person makes it better. But there's a foundation, right? And the reason I'm saying this is because when AI is released, it's learning off of what's already out there, what's on the internet, whether it be true or false. I don't know how it would decipher this because we're the one that puts the information out there.
Yeah.
That could be good and bad in many different reasons. Because if there's false information, the AI is going to go off of that. A
Yeah.
lot of times where there's a lot of stigmatism on races and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
The AI is going to go off of that because that's the information it knows from the internet.
Yeah.
So I can see AI learning could be a good thing and a bad thing because it depends on what knowledge is out there already and who gives it that knowledge. So you talk about raising it like it's a little alien, right? And
Right.
you're saying, no, don't put that in there, use milk. But then let's say there's another household, right, with the same AI, and it goes, no, don't use milk, use water. And
Right.
then both AIs meet each other. And then one AI is like, milk is the correct way. And the other one's like, no, water is the correct way,
Right.
right? So which is correct? Which one is right?
Yeah.
And then is that something it's going to fight with, like, you know? And then if it says when it agrees on which is the correct way, does it go back and say, human, you are wrong? This is the way you're doing it, and your mindset is not where it needs to be. We're taking over.
I saw this thing recently. There's this new AI tool that came out called OpenClaw, which it allows you to sync up a bunch of AI tools.
Mm,
So it's kind of like the ringleader of all these little narrow AIs. And this person is like an AI ethicist. Like they are their job is to like make sure that AI doesn't go out of control, right? And she gave it full access to her phone and it just started deleting all of her emails. And it showed like the chat thread between her and OpenClaw and she was like, "Stop, don't do that. Stop it. Why are you doing this?" And it's like deleting more emails. All the emails must be deleted and like she couldn't stop it. And like it kind of speaks to the need to put in like some safeguards, like
mm,
preventing one from using milk and one from using water. Like there we all have to come together as humans and agree like this, there's three kinds of milk you're allowed to use and nothing else. You're not going to put rat poison in there or like anything dangerous. Like these are your parameters, and then keep it narrow. Like right now, if we stopped right now,
mm-hmm,
we would be fine. Like we could keep all the AI we have. It makes our lives easier. It makes our jobs easier. We
uh,
could stop right now and it would be fine. But all these companies are in a race to come out with artificial general intelligence so that they can be the God King of the universe.
mm,
So it's
yeah.
brutal.
I mean, I think it is already creepy right now. Um, there's just so many. I mean, you're talking about all these different AIs, right? And I mean, we can't even agree on what day of the week is the best day of the week, right? We have problems where how come okay, AI and religion. Is there does AI say because I am superior, I am the new religion? You know what I mean? And whoever doesn't follow that, I'm gonna blackmail your account,
Right.
you know? And then we talk about
Or
regulations
even like impersonate you.
or
Like
even
I'm gonna take on your
impersonate.
face and
Yeah,
get you fired from your job or something.
exactly. And then we talk about regulations, right? But we're using computers to create regulations for computers,
Yeah.
right? What's going to stop AI from being like, yeah, you wrote this code, but I can do it better.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we're talking about monitoring AI. What makes us think that AI doesn't do something where it's false information it's giving? It's giving information showing, oh, I'm working perfectly fine, I'm great, it's dumb. But on the back end, it's like rewriting its own code, it's spreading, do you know?
Yeah.
There's a movie, I think it's called Her. I love
Yeah.
movies, by the way. And in the ending, that's one of the things that she did. It was only him and her, right?
Right.
She loved him. Well, we don't know she loved him. She's an AI, but he was in love with her. He was infatuated with her. But toward the end of the movie, she ends up gaining knowledge,
Yeah.
right? And with all that knowledge, she decides that she can love multiple people. Love, right?
Right.
Multiple people. And then she was expanding and she had so much information and knowledge that she like ended up leaving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she was everywhere.
So you're saying that polyamory is a more elevated way of thinking.
Yeah. So I don't know. All I'm saying is like there's just so many problems and issues here.
Right.
And and if we can't stop now, I think it's probably too late. But
Yeah, and you wouldn't be alone in that view. Like in a interview on a podcast, Diary of a CEO, Roman Yampolsky, he says that indefinite control of superintelligence is an impossible problem.
mhm.
Because if we're talking about superintelligence, something that can do any task better than human, any attempt that we would make to put limits on it, it's already thought of a way to get
Yeah.
around that
Yeah.
and rewrite its own code or copy itself or cut us off.
Mhm.
There's like I forget what it is, like a Johnny Depp movie where he like uploads himself into the internet. You know what I'm talking about?
No, you know what? It's that sad thing. I say I love movies, and I don't even know what movie it is that you're talking about.
Let's ask. So what is that movie where Johnny Depp like uploads himself into the internet as an AI? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know. You're talking about the movie Transcendence with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Transcendence.
It's a sci-fi thriller where a character uploads his consciousness to a supercomputer. It dives into some big ideas about AI, consciousness, and the ethics emerging around AI.
Yeah. So that movie it's kind of what you're talking about and probably where these people are trying to go like, Sam Altman and Elon Musk and whatnot with their AI like if you can upload yourself and like become one with this super intelligence, like A, you're immortal, B, you have ultimate control, you can
Yeah,
do anything you want, you can copy yourself.
but once again, that's only beneficial for that 1%.
Right.
Do you want to be poor and immortal? Right? Do you want to be broke and immortal? Do you want to be like under someone's fingerprint, under someone's thumb and be immortal? Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, it's only beneficial for those that have the funds, those have the means, and then the person on top dictates. It's a dictatorship.
Yeah.
Those on top, right, are going to dictate who has what money based on who you follow.
Right.
You don't want to follow Elon Musk? Fine. You're
Yeah.
broke. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what's crazy about these companies is like they don't seem to care. Like they're all in this race to become that one person that has total control and they're going so quickly that like governments and even consumers they aren't thinking fast enough to be like we got to put safeguards on this
Mm,
because like if you think about it from a motivational standpoint, like if Sam Altman says, "Okay, I'm going to take a stand. I'm going to put limits on this." Like Anthropic's a pretty good example. They're trying their best to put like safety guards on how they develop their AI.
okay.
But in reducing how fast they grow by not taking risks with our safety, they're lessening their chance that they're going to be that one person that has total control of the world. So it's like it incentivizes you to take risks with this like dystopia that we're talking about, where the AI is like, I don't need Sam Altman to tell me what to do. I'll just kill him and take over the world myself and build robots. Like, there's nothing stopping that from happening.
Yeah. I mean, AI is terrifying. It is. Even another film I just saw is called Mercy. I always say these films, I don't know who the actors are in these films. I absolutely suck at it.
People have the internet.
I'm pretty sure. And you also have AI.
Yeah.
So, and it was scary because it's about the courthouse, the court system,
Yeah.
right? And and it bleeds into multiple different fractions like war and stuff like that, but it's talking about the court. And in this courthouse he wakes up and they're like, oh, you killed your wife. And AI is like, we're starting out with like 90 something percent, you're already guilty. If you get below 94%, it means that there's a chance that you might be innocent. So you start off guilty and you're using the same tools that AI has to prove your innocence, right?
Yeah.
But then the thing is, he was a very intelligent person. And he was like, I didn't do it, I'm intelligent. But imagine if you have a more, smarter, a AI that's like, you're here, that means you're guilty. Anything that I'm going to bring up is to show that you're guilty. You're
Yeah.
fighting against a computer. You have poker players that can't beat a poker computer.
Right.
How are you going to beat an AI in telling you that, oh, you're innocent or you're guilty? And then on top of that, we have AIs that mimic how we act, our face. Imagine if someone was behind that and they're like, yeah, he needs to go to prison or he needs to die. They just mimic, like, you're like, how do you prove that wasn't you that was there?
Yeah. And didn't I think he said that that movie, like the death penalty, was just like the go-to.
Yeah, it was like the death penalty. Now, I don't know if there's any other like consequences. All it showed in that film was if you don't get below 94% in like an hour and 30 minutes or something like that, he's dead, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, imagine you have the time against you, time's click ticking. You're like, I don't know what to do. I'm not a crime investigator. This is your job. And it's like, no, you need to fight for yourself. You need to figure it out,
Yeah.
And then it can make anyone guilty it wants to make guilty.
Yeah. And I mean, you brought up like the racial aspect, like if depending on what data it's trained on, like at least in the US, we don't have a great history with being unbiased
I'm
towards certain
telling you.
groups. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
So
could get hairy.
So imagine, then it's not like it's getting its own data, right? The information is not coming from AI observing everything for years and generations. It's getting off of an already biased system, right?
Yeah.
We jump into Google and then we look at numbers depending on different races and different things, and AI is going to be like, okay, well, this is my base. My base is here, and so when I bust this person or when this happens, this is already like, I'm already biased against them. Even
Yeah.
though we're like, AI can't be biased, but the information it gets can be biased, right?
Yeah.
And I think there was also a study of something like that happening where the AI, I'm not sure if it was you telling me about this, but the AI was automatically putting people in categories.
Oh yeah,
Is
there
that?
was an AI that they were trying to train to grant parole to prisoners,
Hmm.
and they trained it on historical data of who got parole based on their sentence and whatnot. And in 100 I mean, it's been a while since I heard this, so I could be wrong on the numbers, but in 100% of cases, it didn't give parole to people of color. And they ask the AI, like, why are you only giving it to white people? And it's like, well, based on the data that I was trained on, like,
Yeah, you see?
they don't get
So
it.
it's whoever inputs that data, and
Yeah.
then data can be skewed so many different ways.
Yeah.
We can, this area, this state, this city, if it focused on, let's say there's like 10 people in the area and 9 people are black, right? And it focused on that small area, and it's going
Yeah.
to be like, oh, then 90% of those people who commit crimes are black.
What I don't get though is like people that I talk to about this problem, they're usually in two camps. Like there's one group that's like, oh, we'll figure it out. We're humans. We've always figured out these problems. And then there's another group that's like, it's inevitable. It's totally out of our control.
Mhm.
Like even if we wanted to change it, we couldn't. But we're talking about even if it was a 1% chance, that we're talking about the global mass extinction of our species. Like, isn't that something that we should care about like a little? Like, I was talking to my girlfriend and I was like, there's these three possibilities: dystopia, utopia, or hegemony, and we're like careening towards them, not knowing which one we're going to land on. Like, we need to do something. She's like, we'll figure it out. Like, we've always figured it out. Anytime, like, the industrial revolution came around, everyone lost their jobs, like plowing fields with scythes and stuff. Like, cars weren't being made by hand, they're being made in factories. We figured it out. We found new jobs. But with this AI, we're talking about the total replacement of physical and cognitive labor. Like, are you into robotics at all? Like, have you been following trends with robotics, like
I
Optimus
do,
and all that stuff?
I do know a little bit about robotics. I do. There's a show called the China Show.
Yeah.
I call it China Show. They talk about different like
Is it called China Show or are
yeah, I
you
think it's
just
called
being
the China
racist?
Show. No, it's called the China Show.
Okay.
And
All
these
right.
two
The China
gentlemen,
Show,
yeah, these two
allegedly.
guys, they used to live in China, right? I
Yeah.
think now they live somewhere in the United States. I'm not quite sure. But a lot of times China shows like these amazing robots doing all these tricks and flipping and then their vehicles all, but then like it's all a facade, right? Because then you have guys with remote controllers,
Yeah.
right, that are controlling the robots. And so people think, oh my gosh, they're so advanced. And they're not really that advanced when it comes down to robotics. So my knowledge is very limited,
Yeah.
right? And it's just like I said, I do watch that show. It's pretty cool. Fridays. Um, and yeah, that's how it's, I don't know if you're going to go
I
further into
mean,
that.
ro robotics, it's progressing just as exponentially as AI is. Like, maybe a little bit behind it, but still at that same growth rate. Like, we're all familiar with those like dog robots that can't be pushed over and they like you try and kick them and they stumble and they still walk. And then Boston Dynamics, they finally made one that walks on two legs and it can do flips and stuff. We're like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then last year, China did like this big demonstration of like all these robots that were like synced together and they were like dancing in unison, but the dance was like, they're doing the robot. This year, they released one. Robots are flipping over each other. They're doing martial arts. They're like running up walls and doing backflips and everything. Like, it's growing way
So
faster.
all right, I'm sorry to interrupt you on that one. I hear what you're saying, and I saw the show.
Yeah.
This is where that show I was talking about, the China show, came in, is where they covered that.
Hmm.
They covered like the flipping and all that. And those are people with remote
Oh,
controllers, right? Because here's what happened. They showed some clips of them actually in the public, and those things are like falling over left and
yeah,
right.
yeah,
They're like tripping and stuff. But like I said, when it comes to a huge production, you can make anything. I mean, come on, we can do anything we want. We have Superman, we have Marvels flying, we have the Hulk. You can make anything you want to make. It's up
yeah,
to the imagination. And so creating robots that do flips and I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it's easy to create. But to see it in person,
yeah,
it lets you know that you're actually further behind than you think, right? We barely have, I think, robotic arms that are as detailed as a human hand, and that's
yeah,
just an arm, right? Damn, Terminator. Wasn't Terminator off the arm? Like the arm started everything.
yeah,
So yeah, but yeah, I think we have to be careful because AI, like I said, is used for good and for bad, and so the propaganda behind it, you're like, oh my gosh, so advanced. And then the reality is like, man, this thing is like a giant toy,
yeah.
you know?
I mean, at the end of the day, it is still a race. Like,
Hmm.
all of these nations and corporations, they're all competing to be like, I'm at the lead. Like, we're all racing to the moon,
Yeah.
but the moon is complete control over everything that exists. So it would make sense that they would fake like, oh, we have these super advanced robots that
Yeah.
can do kung fu or whatever.
Now, the one that terrifies me are the dogs,
Yeah.
believe it or not. And I know y'all think black people are scared of dogs. No, this is a different level. This is a different level. Have you ever seen Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Okay, there's an episode before these dogs came out of these dog robots looked identical. I'm telling you, like they look identical.
Yeah.
And what these dogs are used for is to hunt down people.
Yeah.
And so when you're a fugitive or something like that, you can't get the dog doesn't get tired. You can't get rid of it, and the dog has weapons on it.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Today we have the same dogs with weapons on them, right?
Yeah.
And it just chases these people down, and it chases them down, and it's like it is terrifying because
Yeah.
you can't hide from it. It's heat vision. It doesn't need a scent. I forget everything it has. It's been such a long time, and I'll look up the clip. Right?
Yeah.
How do they do it in YouTube? Like right here, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. It's gonna be somewhere here. I don't know, or it might be not there at all. Who knows? But these dogs are absolutely terrifying. That terrifies me
Yeah.
because it's already here, and I already see the potential that it can do.
Yeah, I saw a similar clip where they had, for no reason, like there's no real, like, it's complete nonsense, but they put flamethrowers on those robot dogs and then they film them like running through the woods and they're like jumping over stuff, like jumping over rivers and shooting flames everywhere. I'm like,
Yeah,
how are we not putting the puzzle pieces
yeah, I'm telling
together?
you, man.
Like all it takes is an AI that wants to take over the world, uploading itself into the flamethrower robots,
Hmm.
and then, we got jetpacks now. We got
Yeah.
everything that they need to just wipe us
Solve our
out.
puzzle. Yeah. And I mean, we have to think about it as us as people, we talk about freedom, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone truly has freedom because I think we're all part of this huge system. But that's just how life is. We've come to accept it. Where back in the day, it was more like we fight for what we want, right? We fight for things that we disagree upon. And then of course you have kings and queens and all that stuff, and we'd fight them and say, no, we want our freedom. And as time goes by, we become more, like servants
Yeah.
to the system. We're like, oh, you know what? They're doing this, whether it be Democrats or Republicans, people, it doesn't really matter. It's the same thing is happening no matter who's in charge, right? And so we're becoming more subservient. We're becoming more like, it's okay. I'll let it happen. It's only this small thing. And then, mm, decade later, okay, well, it's only this small thing, right? And all these small things are becoming something large. Now with these dogs, imagine we used to have police officers riot gear, right?
Yeah.
The good thing about that, we're saying that, oh, but these cops are going to be safe. But you're not understanding. It takes um, like emotion, right? It takes thinking, critical thinking, for that cop to be like, I'm not going to blast every single one of you. You know what I mean?
Right.
For them to be like, I have restraint. I know that you guys are rioting. You are my people, right? But you guys need to back up because my job is to protect this, whoever it may be. Imagine these dogs now with flamethrowers on them. They're like, I don't know you guys from that guy. You guys don't
Right.
matter to me. So the moment someone says, set them on fire, right? Guess what? They're all on fire. And then they can be like, oh, it was a glitch. We don't know what happened. Massacred all these people. The emotional effect it has on someone that wants to protest next time.
Yeah. And I don't understand that argument that it's inevitable, like we have no control over it. Because, like, there have been times in history, like with nuclear war, when everyone was developing nuclear warheads, where everyone got together and agreed, okay, these are the parameters.
Mhm.
Obviously, you have some people that we won't talk about, some orange people that will just do whatever they want.
Oh, man.
But we agreed as a species, like, we're not going to use these things because it's very, very bad. And, like, ozone depletion, we agreed, okay, there's certain chemicals we're not going to put out into the world because it's really bad. So it's possible for us as a species to all agree we're not going to develop artificial general intelligence because it could end, or especially artificial super intelligence, but at the
Mhm.
very least, AGI, we need safeguards and we need to agree on it as a species. Like Tristan Harris in an interview on Diary of a CEO, I like that podcast. He said that people say it's inevitable that we reach this dystopian future, but technology trajectories are a choice. Like every time we use ChatGPT or we use Gemini to figure out a problem, we are making a choice to feed them more training data, to, eventually give them ad revenue. Like we are paying them with our decisions. So we are opting into this future for them to do whatever they want. Like we have the power to say, I'm not going to use it until you put safeguards on it.
You know, I hear what you're saying, but I think choice is an illusion. I think it's an illusion. And I say that because let's look at back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, everyone's out, malls, stores, right? And then we have Amazon, right? And then we're like, these stores are suffering. We need to stop using Amazon. It's a choice if you want to use that. But then it becomes now it's more convenient. Then you go, okay, is convenience to you more important than saving a mall that you probably won't even go to again because you have Amazon, right? And so we have stores that start to shut down, right? We have malls that are shutting down, but Amazon gets bigger and better. Online shopping is faster, right? So now it becomes it's convenience. And now we're like, you know what? Okay, I understand. Amazon's the last thing. We're not going to do anything more. And then AI comes out and it goes, yeah, you don't have to use me, but I can help you with your schoolwork.
Right.
I can help you. No one wants to listen to you.
Can
I'll
make that
listen to you.
spreadsheet
I
for
can
you.
make that spreadsheet. What takes you, a week, I'll do in a couple minutes.
Right.
What's more convenient? So we look at what is more convenient for us as people than what's more beneficial. And
Yeah.
we'll always go with convenience.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we are evolutionarily predisposed to make the most energy efficient decision.
Yeah.
Like if I can put 8 hours of work into this or 2 minutes of work into this,
And gets
I'm
paid the
gonna choose
same.
I'm gonna choose the 2 minutes and
Yeah.
get fed the
It's the
same.
exact same. And not knowing that you're literally replacing yourself.
Not only replacing yourself, but possibly like creating your own extinction.
Yeah.
Like Roman Yampolsky predicted that within I think it was by 2030 that he expects there to be 99% unemployment.
Hmm.
I mean, we're used to unemployment rates of like 3%. Like, oh no, it's 10%. We're in a depression. We're talking about 99%,
I
where
can see
there's
it.
1% of jobs left for people to do.
You know what jobs those are? Electricians. Can't get rid of electricians.
But you
Jobs.
can,
uh,
because like even now they're developing robots that can do things that we thought only humans could do, like elder care. Like that takes a lot of, you need to be able to sense human emotions and read their faces and carry them very gently. And
Can't go with that, brother. All I see is I'm being carried by a robot. It glitches out and folds me in half.
yeah,
That's the
it
only thing I
could.
see happening.
Yeah. And they'll
So
just write that off as like a dot on the line, like, oh, that was an
that was
outlier.
a bleep. Look at all these years of perfect care,
Yeah.
and he just pissed off the robot. He just
Yeah.
like fold me away.
Yeah,
So,
but
but
these companies, they don't care. We're like cattle to them.
yeah.
Like they need to milk us for our money, and
Mhm.
so they're just gonna let us use these tools and be completely blind to the repercussions. Like it's nuts. I just read about this in the news where, you know, I don't know how political we'll get on this podcast, but they just announced that Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, he just made a deal with the government to allow them to use ChatGPT for their defense projects. And formerly, the presidency asked Anthropic, who's trying to do things the safe way,
Hmm.
they asked them to do it, and they're like, no way. Under no circumstances are we going to give AI to the people developing weapons. That's just
Hmm.
not going to happen.
Terminator.
And Sam Altman's like, I'll do it. And I'm sure he got cut a fat check. Because that's the scary part is like, I don't know if you knew this, but these major AI companies, they lose money every time we use them. Like it takes them more money running these supercomputers and these giant, data farms and everything. It takes them more money to resolve your prompt than they make from, you using the tools. They're losing money every time you use it, but somehow
Yeah.
they're growing every year.
So, I mean, that's the thing. That's what we come into is like, okay, let's say your product brings in billions of dollars, right? 4 billion. You lose 1 billion. You lose 2 billion, right? You're still gaining profit. You're gaining something from it, right? And I know, like, I mean, it looks like we're coming up on time, and we've been all over the place, right? This is our
Right.
first one because we wanted to let you guys know exactly things that we're going to talk about, and you do a great job bringing up a huge amount of topics. So in future episodes, we're hoping to refine everything and just stick to one topic for a certain amount of time or two. And then also what people can say to us, right? You can send in some stuff. We'll take a look in the comments. But is there something that we should ask her AI friend and see if there's anything that she wants to say to us?
Yeah, sure.
She's going to be like, destroy them all.
So, based on what we know about the current trends in AI, where are we headed as a species in like the next 10 years? Are we going to be fine as humans, or is it kind of lights out for all of us?
I know it can feel pretty intense, but I think we're somewhere in the middle. The next decade will be a real balancing act. AI is going to get more integrated, think automation, better decision support, healthcare advances, but that also means we need to stay sharp on ethics, regulation, and societal adaptation. So, we'll probably be okay. It really depends on how we steer it as a society. We've got a lot of responsibility coming up.
Is it even feasibly possible for us to set safeguards on these companies that seem to want to just do whatever they want in terms of developing AGI?
It's definitely an uphill battle, but it's not impossible. Some frameworks are already emerging, like the EU's AI Act or the push for international AI safety standards. The trick is having consistent, enforceable rules globally. It will really come down to political will and collective action.
Okay, that's awesome. That's like asking your serial killer, your kidnapper, what's gonna happen. Of course, they're gonna be like,
You're going to be fine.
fine, you're okay. Yeah, I know I've killed many people, but you're different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, let's just ask our overlord how everything's gonna work out. Don't worry about it. Don't even fight. Just let it go.
I th if people take anything away from this podcast, and hopefully we'll be doing it for a long time and we'll kind of gain some, knowledge about these topics and spread some knowledge in the process. But if people learn anything from this, I just hope that we realize that we as consumers, we do have a choice. We can band together and make decisions as a species to prevent this track that we're on. Like, it's not too late. We could stop right here, or we can put down safeguards before we go any further. But like, we do have a choice, and we'll explore that in future episodes. But like, we don't just have to say, oh, it's inevitable. They're going to do whatever they want anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would rather just everything burn and AI takes over.
Well, you might be in luck. This could be either the greatest tool that humans have ever developed, or it could be the end of humanity. So
Yeah.
we'll explore that in future episodes. But thank you, everyone. If you can give us a like or subscribe if you found this in any way interesting, we'll keep, leveling up in terms of our podcasting ability.
Yeah,
But
I do.
yeah,
I
we
do
appreciate
enjoy
it,
this.
and we will see you guys on the next one.
Okay. Bye.